Hey, good morning or good afternoon there, folks. This is Brian with Mortgage Coach. We're going to be getting started here in just a few moments. Typically get started about 1 or 2 after the hour just to give those last minute arrivals an opportunity to pop into the workshop. So appreciate your patience. We'll get started here in just a few moments. While we're waiting, how about if you can help me out and confirm everything is working correctly by utilizing the chat area? And how about typing in the city that you're located in? Hopefully someplace nice and warm. If you could just type in your city in the chat area, that would be great. Perfect. Thanks, April. You're first to respond. Glad to know that everything's working correctly. And Jacksonville, I hope that's nice and warm there. Hey, Ron. Chicago, not. Yes. We have quite a few people on the Mortgage Coach team that are located in Texas, and wow, the updates that we're getting from those folks, they're really going through something tough there. So we'll get started here in just a few moments. Want to give those last minute arrivals an opportunity to pop in the workshop. Give me a few more seconds here to make sure everything's set up correctly too. Is this, out of curiosity, is this the first time for everybody to attend this particular workshop? I'm kind of curious there too. Maybe raise your hand so that you know where the little hand icon is in the panel there, if it's your first time for attending a black belt training workshop. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Desiree. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And I should probably introduce myself. My name is Brian Maring. I am one of the customer success managers here at Mortgage Coach. I might be your customer success manager. We have quite a few different enterprise partners, and I work with quite a few groups. I think I recognize some of the names there of people that are in the workshop, but I'm glad to have you on the call. This particular workshop is geared towards helping you as a mortgage professional understand the different strategies that you're going to want to master, and hence the name we call it the Black Belt series, so that you're prepared when certain market conditions are out there. When a borrower needs to see a particular type of presentation, you're prepared to be able to paint that picture and tell the story that's behind that picture in a way that's going to help them connect with you and see your value as a mortgage professional and see the value of the loan options that you're presenting to them. So let me go ahead and share with you some resources here before we get started here. So on our website here, if you go into lender services here, we actually have a section on our website called Black Belt Training. And we're going to be able to cover a few of the strategies in today's workshop. And the strategies that we're going to cover are going to be based upon the ones that you want to see. I'm going to actually launch a poll here, and you folks are going to have the ability to choose which strategy you feel would help you the most right now in helping you become a black belt using Mortgage Coach. But this is a really good resource for you. And I like this particular page for a couple of reasons. First off, you're hearing from top producing mortgage professionals that are sharing these strategies. And I'll go ahead and I'll click on, how about this one here? So this particular strategy by Amber Kavarik, it's geared towards a refinance transaction, but it also has a very good question that you might want to implement, a very good strategy that you might want to implement when you're doing your refinance transactions is to ask the person that you're helping with the refinance, how does the home that you're currently living in right now fit your current lifestyle? And what she found is that, 1 out of 5, 20% of the people that she asked that question to, it could benefit them in refinancing, but it would probably be better if they looked at refinancing. So she incorporated a move-up strategy along with the refinance transactions that she was presenting to the client. And she closed, she's closed a lot of refinance transactions with this, but she's also um, help people move up to a larger home that is in more in alignment with where their needs are. Because right now in the current environment, people are working from home now, and you might have two people working from home, and they're both competing for an office. Life events happen. The family gets bigger, whatever the case is. So you might want to incorporate that question and implement that particular strategy. And the thing I like about this is that you not only get to hear Dave's interview with the client, but you also get to get an example of the TCA, and you get their scripting that they use, because it's nice when you have an example of how somebody's framing the conversations that they're having with their clients. I'm not saying that you have to use their exact words, but at least you have a roadmap of how you would have the conversation and the things that you want to incorporate in. And then you get the example of the total cost analysis that was used in it. So again, very good resource for you to take advantage of. Just real quickly here, here's the borrower's current loan. Here's the refinance solution that she was proposing. And then here's the purchase. Here's the potential move up. And you can see this is the borrower's current home here. This is the potential value of the new home. And this is with putting 5% down, by the way. See how each of the products have um, a specific name? You can name the products whatever you wish. So in this case, this borrower put 5% down because they were a little bit uncertain, and they wanted to keep some of the proceeds of the sale from their home to purchase the new home in an investment account, or put it in an investment account, just so that they could have, I guess you could call it, some powder dry in case things didn't, something happened with the job or whatever the case. And then she also painted the picture. Okay, well, if you do take the full amount of the proceeds from the sale of your home and apply it to the new mortgage via a recast, this is what your monthly payment would look like. In this case, if they took the full proceeds, you could take a look. They could purchase a home that's almost $100,000 more in value and end up with a payment that's less than what they're currently making now. And that's just because, of course, they had a very high interest rate, where, with the current property that they have here now. So just a strategy, an example of the different strategies that you can utilize. So, make a note when you have a chance, just take a look at one strategy at a time, familiarize it, familiarize yourself with it, so that you can make it your own. And when the time comes, when the certain market conditions come into play, so you're working with a particular client, you know how to utilize that strategy to connect with them. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and just a couple other resources. I'm sure that most everybody has, but just in case there's a few people that haven't yet, we actually have a YouTube channel, and this is where we house all our calls. So every Tuesday interview that Dave does, every Friday mastermind call, every interview that he does with a mortgage professional, mortgage coach, top producer, whatever the case, you'll be able to find it here. And, this has often been called like the Netflix of mortgage professionals, where you can just come and get, a nugget of information from each one of every one of these calls that could potentially help you out. And then we also have a Facebook group, our Productivity Mastermind Facebook group. And, just a great way to become part of a community. Join the community and keep on top of all the latest that's going on with Mortgage Coach, what strategies are being used, and, ask questions amongst your peers. So just an opportunity, a great community of people sharing, helping each other out so that everybody's more successful. So if you haven't taken advantage of those resources already, please do, so that it can help you. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and launch a poll. Let me go ahead and go to the panel here. I'm going to launch a poll, and the poll is two-part question. First part is to help me understand where you're at with your Mortgage Coach knowledge, so that I can kind of gear the remainder of the workshop towards, where you're at. First question is in reference to, how many presentations have you built? What belt level are you? And then the second poll question that I'm going to launch here very shortly is, which strategy would you like to see? And it's majority rules. So Please vote. And the faster you vote and the quicker that you do so, we can get things underway here so that I understand, where you're at and what strategies are going to help you the most with what you're trying to accomplish with Mortgage Coach. So the poll has now been launched. If you can go ahead and respond. Again, first question, what Mortgage Coach belt level are you? Second question is, what strategy would you like to see? Does everybody see the poll? Because I haven't gotten any responses yet. Just want to see that it has officially. Okay, there we go. Good. And if you're a white belt, don't hesitate to go ahead and share that. I mean, that's fine. It's only going to help me in how I gear the presentation for everybody. So again, please get that taken care of as quickly as possible so that we can go ahead and continue with the workshop. I'm just scrolling through your responses so far and taking a look and seeing, yeah, so most of you are, I mean, you're kind of, at the beginning stages of using Mortgage Coach, which is perfectly fine. White belts and orange belts so far. And let's see here. It looks like a lot of people are asking for different refinance strategies and a few purchase strategies. Purchase strategies, I mean, I think we all know, right, that this refi wave that we're riding right now is, it's there, it's great. Business is hopefully falling in your laps, but you want to be forward thinking and getting yourself prepared to, adjust. And again, focus back on the purchase market when, when you're not so busy with the refinances, or find a way to juggle both. So, okay. And it looks like we've got almost everybody's participating in the poll. And again, it looks like a lot of refi options. So let's dive into the refis, and then it looks like a purchase. So I'm going to cover a couple different strategies here. Like I said, I want to try and cover as many strategies as we possibly can, so that you'll get adjusted to it. So first up, let's go ahead and let's look at a refi strategy here to help you. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and log into my BlackBelt account here. And for anybody that's not familiar with Mortgage Coach, I would recommend using Chrome as your preferred browser. And you can see the website that I went to, ae.mortgagecoach. This particular account I've set up with all the different strategies that we typically cover. So you can see I've got quite a few of them already built here. I'm going to go ahead and dive into the refi presentation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through this as if, say, you were sitting in the seat of a borrower, somebody that you would actually be working with, because I want you to see what they see when somebody walks them through a Mortgage Coach presentation like this. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the link to the presentation and I'm going to put it in the chat area for you folks, so that you can sit in that seat and see what happens as a borrower being walked through a presentation like this. And then the other thing is that you might like some of the strategies that I'm using in this particular example. And by you clicking on the link that I'm going to put in the chat area here, I'm going to do that right now. By you clicking on that link, you'll have a copy of it. So like I said, if you like what you see there and you understand the strategy and you would like to utilize it with your clients, you're going to understand and you're going to have an example of it there. So couple reasons why it's of value for you to click on the link that I've just placed in the chat area for you. So I'm going to give you a moment or two to click on it. And as a loan officer, you're actually going to be able to tell when somebody's clicked on the link that you've sent to them. If you take a look up here in the top right-hand corner, if you take a look, see where it says views to. So at this time, I know at least two of you, and I know there's more than two of you in the workshop, at least two of you have clicked on the link that I provided you. Let's see if we can get that number north of at least 5 here. See if we can get at least 5 or 6 people to click on that link. Now, each time that your borrower clicks on the link that you've sent to them, you're going to get an alert notification sent to you. So if you didn't know that, that's one of the things that makes Mortgage Coach, you can see now we're up to 4. Let's see if we can get a few more people. But that's one of the things that you are going to get a return on your investment, if you will. Your investment in sending one of your clients a Mortgage Coach total cost analysis, or TCA, what we call them here. This is an example of a Mortgage Coach TCA, total cost analysis. So whenever you send that link to a client, you'll get an alert notification sent to you. I'm going to go right down here to where it says presentation. So this is what I call my navigation panel over here. And if you click on preview right here, when you put color in the square right here where it says notify me when this report is viewed, that's what triggers the alert notification. And every time that the borrower clicks on it, you'll get that alert notification. And if you've been having difficulty in getting in touch with that client, once you see that alert notification come up, you might have the Mortgage Coach app on your phone. You'll get the alert notification there, or you see it pop up in your email. If you've been having difficulty in getting in touch with that client, I would recommend calling them at that point in time, because they're still most likely viewing the presentation that you've sent out to them. So make sure that there's color in each and every one of these presentations that you send out when you want to get those alert notifications. Of course, you're going to want to protect yourself and put a quote date in there. And then this is where you click to generate the share link. You click generate share link, and that's the link that I just provided everybody. Okay. So I'm going to come over here to the presentation. I'm going to make sure that there's color in each and every option. You can see this particular page right here where it says presentation. There's 4 options that are going to be provided in comparison to the borrower's current loan. So when you look at the actual Mortgage Coach presentation that I sent out to you folks, and that 4 of you are looking at right now, you can see the 4 options appearing on the presentation in comparison to the borrower's current loan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin by clearing out all the highlights. So all the highlights are now gone on my screen. The 4 of you that have clicked on the link, can you confirm that you're no longer seeing any highlights? It's completely clear. If you could raise your hand, that would be great. Okay, perfect. All right. So what I would recommend is, to help you with your conversion, try and utilize this method whenever you possibly can. Now, it's important to know your audience. There's some people that I don't know, maybe they don't use technology or whatever the case is. And if you were going to try and send them a link and have them click on that link and get on a meeting with you, whether it's Zoom or over the phone, that might be a little bit daunting for them. But for the majority of people, I think that you're going to find that this is going to be very helpful to them, and it will also help you with your conversion. So I'd recommend that you send the link just prior to either getting them on the phone to go over a consultation. And then, by the way, is anybody meeting with your clients like with Zoom or another format? Raise your hand. I'm kind of curious. Okay. Yeah. The combination, April, of meeting with your client and using this could be very powerful, because you want them to review the mortgage plan that you put together for them while you're present with them. So rather than sending them the link, which you can send them the link and you can record a video, but try and have them present while you're going over these loan options, either on the phone or in some type of a Zoom meeting like this, go to webinar, whatever you're using. So that way you can get their immediate feedback. And what you can do is, I'm going to start off here by highlighting the client's current loan. So you can see here, it's highlighted here. And I did that by clicking up here at the top. Anytime that you click on the title of the whatever product that you've named, it will highlight the entire product. The same thing when you highlight one of the row items, like maybe the interest rate here. So if you highlight anything here or here, it'll highlight on the borrower screen. Then you can get very granular and go to specific data fields that you want to have a conversation with the client about. Like in this example, maybe I want to confirm all the details about their current loan. Current interest rate being 3.875%. This is your current monthly payment. Does the payment include taxes and insurance? Well, let's come up here in the more info area and take a look. Oh, yes, it does. Okay, so this includes taxes and insurance on each of the options. It's a refi so that we don't have to worry about any type of mortgage insurance. Scrolling down a little bit further, we can also see that the client's already invested about 4.5 years into the life of the loan. So I could confirm all these different topics while I'm speaking with the client. Now, in this case, there's 4 options that are appearing on it. You could start off and have all 4 present while you're working with the client, or perhaps maybe start off with just one and then get their feedback. So either way, whatever you're most comfortable with, either way, have a conversation with them. And now what I've done is I've eliminated these 3 so that they're only going to see option 1 there. So you might start off, like I said, with one option and then bring the others up as needed after you've gotten their feedback on them. So now we can do a comparison to the first option here. We can reduce the rate to 3.25%, which would reduce the monthly payment, produce a savings of $202.44, and it would reset the clock to 30 years. We can also graphically come over here and show them, what the savings would look like in a graphic format. Looking at this midterm analysis, and while I'm letting my cursor drift around into these different areas, see the pop-up occur? So it helps you as well as your borrower understand what information is being conveyed in that particular area. So you can see it, let it drift back and forth. Now, you might notice whenever you build a total cost analysis, see where mine says savings over 34 months? Anybody notice what yours typically says when you build a total cost analysis? Anybody pay attention to that? Yeah, April, exactly. It defaults. So that's a default figure of 60 months. And then the default down here, it's not typically net worth in 18 years. It's interest paid over 15 typically is the default. So you have the ability, anybody have any thoughts or an idea? Why does this show savings in 34 months? What's the significance of 34 months there? Anybody have any thoughts on that? April, you are just on top of this. Is everybody else, I think everybody else could probably see the chat area there, but what this is representing is the break-even point. Okay, this is representing the break-even point. So the savings over 34 months. So you have the ability, provided that you want to illustrate to the client where is the break-even point? How long do they actually have to be in the loan for it to make sense? Is it going to be beneficial for them based upon how long they'll actually be in this particular loan? This analysis area over here, like I said, I can customize it. Right now it's representing net worth for 18 years. But one thing to keep in mind here is you provided the borrower with a single option and you painted the client into a corner basically. And what I mean by that is that they're only going to be able to respond in one of 2 ways when you provide them with a single option like that. Yes, what you're hoping for, or no. What happens if this client feels that they're entitled, if you will? They're hearing all this information about historic low rates. Their coworkers, their friends, their neighbors are getting, refinancing and getting rates in the 2% range. Why am I talking to you and having a conversation and we're talking about 3.25? So it's always best to provide your borrower with multiple options. And one of the things that we recommend here at Mortgage Coach is that you always give them options to take into consideration. In fact, let me share this with you. I'm going to open this up and share this link with you. And what I would recommend is that you click on the link just so that you could have it handy. And it gives you the ability just to have a visual. Whoops. This one's important. This will go through and it'll analyze each of the different areas that you want to have or potentially use to have a conversation. So I'm going to put the link to that one in the chat area, but I'm also going to put this one. This is the one that I actually meant to show you. So Mortgage Coach is always about providing your client with mortgage options, okay? Rather than having just a single option for them to compare to, give them a second option for them to take into consideration. It gives you the opportunity to have more dialogue with them and confirm that, maybe that first option was the option that they're looking for. And then second thing is analyze the total cost over time. Third, I almost said third option. Third essential to keep in mind is analyze strategies to reduce the debt cost. And I'm going to show you that here in just a second as well. So in the advice engine now, I'm going to come over here where it says presentation. And I'm going to put color in this particular square right here where it says option 2. So when I click next, now the borrower is going to have a second option to take into consideration. And they'll be able to see, okay, well, if you want 2.99%, absolutely do that for you. And you can take a look over here, how it's going to extend, because of the additional costs, it's going to extend the break-even point. Now, if I click on the more info button here, this is where it's going to illustrate. This is the amount of interest that the borrowers are going to pay in the next 34 months on their current loan. This is the amount of interest that they would pay on either option. And then, of course, there's closing costs that are required to achieve that particular loan. So you can see here in 34 months, they're going to go from red to green by about $87. From that point forward, they're going to be saving more and more money by utilizing option 1. Well, the break-even point for option 2 has not quite occurred in 34 months. So if somebody has a very short time horizon for a being in a loan or being in a property, it might be more beneficial to not take the 2.99. Now you have a way of not only telling, but showing them why. You've got a visual as to why it may not be beneficial for them. Okay. Any questions over, making sure that you're providing options? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't place those in the chat area for you here too. Let me put those 2 links to those 2 slides, so that way you'll have those in the chat area for you. There you go. They're in there now. Let me send them off to you. Okay. So within this particular one, I do want to cover a couple extra strategies that could be beneficial for you when you're having a conversation with somebody that you're going to help with a refinance. So providing them options, this would be, a points versus no points, exact same product, just a different interest rate with, a greater monthly savings, additional costs, and then you can have that conversation with them. But after you've had a chance to narrow it down, maybe the borrower agrees or sees that, it is better for me to do the 3.25%. What additional strategies can you use? So let me go ahead and go into the advice engine here and bring up another option here on my presentation. So once again, I'm just going to click presentation. Confirm the borrower is interested in option 1. I'm now going to go ahead and put color in this particular option. It says same payment here, and I'm going to move forward. So let's look at the presentation now. So option 2 will disappear, and then same payment will now appear. And this is all happening while the borrower is viewing the presentation. So as we're working together, what I'm illustrating to the borrower now is that you're capable of making the same payment that you're making on your current loan now. Just make the same payment on the new loan at the lower interest rate, apply that $202.44 of savings towards principal reduction. And this will actually give you the ability to not reset the clock, but fast forward the clock on your mortgage. So now you painted a picture for the client and showing them that they can actually take almost 2 years off the life of the loan. You probably want to paint a bigger picture for them down here, right? Rather than net worth in 18 years, you probably want to show them what it would look like and the amount of interest that they're going to save over the life of the loan. So in the analysis area, in this navigation panel over here, you can see the analysis area. I'm going to change the long-term analysis timeline to 30 years. And I'm going to switch it from total net worth down here to interest and MI paid. In this case, there's no MI that's being paid. It's just defaulted in there. So let's look at the picture now. So if you look at the presentation, now it's going to show interest in 30 years. And you can see that by executing, maintaining the same payments that they currently are now, it's going to give them the ability to save about $37,000 over the life of the loan. And again, they can click on the more info button here to see exactly how that's calculated and things like that. So for those clients that maybe, having a hesitation or pumping the brakes and looking at and evaluating, okay, I'm going to be saving this amount of money. Is it really going to benefit me to refinance and save that on a monthly basis, but reset the clock? This is a strategy that could potentially help you get them off the fence and see the value of refinancing. Another component of that is if you come over here in the savings over 34 months, if you click on the more info button here, another helpful component of that is principal paid here also. So if you look at the amount of principal paid in this strategy over here, over a 34-month period, and you could, this is, I should say, this is helpful for somebody that knows that they have an exit strategy and they plan on selling the house in a short period of time, and they're weighing whether or not it's going to benefit them in refinancing. So you could show them that if they refinance and make the same payment that they're currently making now, more of that payment's going to go towards principal reduction or towards principal, and they can take that money with them when they go to sell the property. And it's just maintaining the same payment that they're currently making right now. And you can customize it to the timeline that they say that they plan on selling a house, whether it's 5, 6 years. In this case, it's showing 34 years. But this is a strategy to show them that you're going to have deposited more money into your principal savings account so that when you go to sell your property, you could potentially have more money to withdraw and apply to another property. So just different ways to use these analysis areas and paint those pictures for your clients. Okay, and you probably saw that there was a fourth option, right? When I built this presentation. So another thing that you could do when you're working with your clients is I'm going to remove the same payment option now, and I'm going to put color in this box that shows investment. I'm going to go ahead and click next. Anybody on the call working with financial advisors, or potentially you might want to start, generating referrals from financial advisors? Just curious here. Okay, it doesn't look like there's anybody on the call. Just scrolling through here. Let me share with you how this could potentially help you in providing referrals to financial advisors, or opening up that door to potentially get referrals from financial advisors. So this particular strategy, looking at the presentation now, it's going to show investment. And what I'm illustrating here is, rather than pocketing that $202.44, what we're going to do is we're going to put that into an investment account and earn interest rather than pay interest. So if you take a look here, it says interest in 30 years. I'm going to switch gears and send that back to net worth here. There we go. And when you're working with a client that's going to be refinancing and they want to achieve a certain amount of money as a monthly savings, make sure you're asking why. What are you going to do? What are your plans for the savings that you're going to do in refinancing? And if you hear that, oh, I'm going to be putting money away in an investment account for a college education. I plan on retiring in 15 years or 20 years, and I'm going to be putting money into an investment account. Now, what you can do is you could use a mortgage coach total cost analysis to provide them with a visual of exactly the strategy that they're trying to implement. So make sure you're asking your borrowers, what they intend to do with that savings. Are they planning for a certain future life event, like, a college education, retirement, whatever the case is? And then paint the picture of total net worth here. And let's take a look at the presentation now. And it looks like I'm gonna have to do a refresher. So let me just do one more. Get rid of that one. And I just wanted to illustrate that there's going to be two colors now appearing down here at the bottom. So this is net worth in 30 years. The green represents the property appreciation. And if you click on the more info button here, property appreciation is set at 4% on this one. You have the ability, because not everybody's market is 4%. Some of you might be lower, some of you might be higher. You have the ability to set the property appreciation rate that's whatever relevant to the market that you're doing business in, or where the client lives. The gold portion that's appearing on the graph here is referencing the asset accumulation. So if you click on the more info button here, you can see the total investment here after a period of 30 years, contributing that $202.44 on a monthly basis with a rate of return of 5% is going to yield almost $170,000 over that particular time horizon. And again, whatever time horizon is relevant to your client, that's what you want to use. So this is showing them what their net worth position would be looking like in taking advantage of refinancing, putting that money, that savings, that monthly savings into an investment account. This is where you would tie in and get the professional financial advisor's recommendation as an appropriate rate of return. So if they have a financial advisor, can I talk to your financial advisor? Can I get the rate of return that they're expecting you to be able to achieve? They introduce you to that financial advisor. You show them the value, your value in working with the client, the picture that you're painting with them. It's a potential for you to mutually benefit and form a relationship for a referral source there. So this is the picture that you can paint. Now, you might have seen, where do I go? Where do I keep repeatedly going to paint these different pictures in the advice engine? It's right here in the analysis area here. And specifically, adjust reinvestment strategy. If you click on that, this is where you can make adjustments and paint the pictures that I just shared with you. So if you look here, here's the borrower's current loan. You can see their freedom point, or when their mortgage will be paid off, is 25.5 years. Option 1 produces a savings of $202.44. Option 2, savings of $232.07. Same payment. So what I did is I made an exact copy of option 1, and then I applied the savings, the monthly savings of $202.44, and placed it right in this box where you can see it's labeled repayment right here. And what that did is it shortens the client's time horizon, their freedom point. It reduces it down to 23.83 years. Now for the investment, I put the savings right down here in the investment payment amount. And then I put the rate of return at 5%. And you can see what that's going to produce over that particular time horizon. So this is where you would input those different figures. Now, a couple of things that are important on this page when you start to make adjustments and start painting pictures for your clients. Some of you might be working with people that, they have to they're making a purchase and they have to utilize mortgage insurance. They're not happy about having to utilize mortgage insurance. They want to get rid of it as quickly as possible. If you notice, there's another row here where it says MI cutoff month. And I'll show you a purchase transaction here in a little bit. But you can actually put together a plan for them by showing them that if they make additional payments towards principal reduction, they can control when that mortgage insurance will actually come off based upon whatever time horizon that they want to set for achieving that. So helpful for purchases and for refinances. You can also enter lump sums. This is a monthly amount here, but you have the ability to enter a lump sum amount as well in there. This could be helpful for somebody that is, eventually going to sell a property. They're buying a new home and they want to see what it would look like at a particular point in time when they get the proceeds from that sale and apply it to the new loan, how that's going to help them pay it off more quickly. So there's a variety of different ways, a monthly basis or a lump sum way of making it happen. Okay, I think I covered everything on this page. Any questions about what we've covered so far? And again, I'm just taking a look over here to see if there's anything going on. Okay. All right. Well, I hope that that has given you some ideas. Let me go ahead and I'll just illustrate the AMBIC or VARIC strategy here for the refi here real quick. Let's see here. It looks like I have just a straight move up here in the presentation. So I'll just real quickly show you what a move up buyer looks like so that you can see how you can incorporate it along with the refi here. Let me move this over here and I'll share this strategy here with you real quick. So I'm going to put the, do a quick preview and highlight. So the move up strategy can be very helpful for a couple purposes here. Like right now, if you're talking to your realtor partners, what's, and I'm curious, those of you that are having conversations with your realtor partners, if you could put in the chat area, what are some of the bigger challenges, or what's probably the biggest challenge, I should say, for them right now? What are they struggling with? What are your realtor partners struggling with right now? Have they shared that information with you? So April's put something in there. How about anybody else? Let's see if anybody else can contribute. When you're having conversations with your realtor partners, what are they struggling with right now? What's their biggest challenge? Okay. Yeah. So I'm hearing multiple offers and inventory. Yeah. Inventory is kind of, multiple offers is kind of a component of inventory, right? When there's a little supply and the demand is high, there's a lot of multiple offers in there. So this is a strategy when you're talking to your refi clients, or for that matter, when you're talking with your realtor partners, that could potentially help generate a little bit more inventory and also create potentially 2 commissions for your realtor partner. And what some mortgage professionals, top producing mortgage professionals, are doing is that they're working with their realtor partners and having them look back at their database, the realtor's database, and looking back, 5-6 years ago for people that they've helped with a purchase transaction that may now be ready for some type of move up. A potential life event has occurred for them. Family's gotten bigger. They bought the home with the intention of it being their first home, and now they're ready to move up. So you can utilize this particular strategy along with your realtor partners to help increase inventory and take somebody that is looking to move up, they of course have to sell their property in order to move up to the next property. So what you can do, and let me go ahead and clear out the highlights here. Here's the borrower's current situation here. So they have a home right now that they've had for about 6.5 years now. It's appreciated over time. It's gone up to about $500,000 in value. They're potentially now looking at the opportunity to refinance because they have a rate that's higher than where the market is. This is what their monthly payment looks like. But what you could do is you could show them that they could potentially purchase a home that is $50,000 more in value than their current home, take advantage of the lower interest rates, and end up having a monthly payment that may not be that much higher or a significant amount higher than what they're currently paying now. And then what you're able to do is you're also able to paint the picture of what their net worth would look like by purchasing a home that is, potentially going to appreciate more than their current home now. And what I've done in this particular presentation is I've just broken it down into different increments, starting off at 550, moving up to 575, and moving up to 550, showing the impact that it's having on their monthly payment. And again, this may or may not have that significant of amount of increase in their monthly payment. Oh, it looks like this one, I actually did 550. Oh, okay. This one, this one threw me for a second. So this one, they actually purchased the 550 home, but they put money into an investment account and they put like 5% down rather than the full 20% down. So just another way too, so that you could show them that, you could purchase a home, put money into an investment account, and have that appreciate and have a greater net worth over a certain period of time. That one I had to stop and think, why is that one 550 and the payment so much higher? So, okay. But you could paint the picture. You could just keep going up. Maybe the next step would be 600,000. And what you could do is show your realtor partner this particular strategy so that they can start looking at their database, giving you access to their database, and maybe you both mutually introduce this move up strategy. It's going to benefit the realtor because, of course, they have the opportunity to earn two purchases, one for the sale of the current home and then one for the purchase of the new home. So that would be their motivation for trying to get involved with this jointly. And then, of course, you're going to have the opportunity to serve the family with a new loan. So move up strategy can be very, very helpful for you. Let's see here. April, you put a question there. If you build a TCA and want to switch the order of the options, one to the order, is there possible, or do you have, okay. This is a question that I get quite often. And the suggestion has been made that you have the ability to order the products in any way that you possibly can. Right now, you can kind of do it, but it does require a little bit more work. But what I think would be cool, and I think what April is after, is that you just maybe have a little checkbox right next to the product, and you could label it position 1, 2, 3, or 4. That might be something that we can incorporate. And the more of you that ask that, the faster it gets up on the priority list. But the way that I do it right now is that if I do have to switch orders, what I'll do is I'll copy from another product and then copy from it and try and get them into the position of the order. You're going to have to recreate probably one, but at least that way it minimizes the amount of work, and you just copy them and change the orders. But that's not the first time that that I've been asked that, April, and being able to put them in order with just a click box or put 1, 2, 3 or whatever, I think that would be really helpful. Okay. All right. So we covered move up strategy. We covered the refinance strategy. Let's see here. Let me go to the poll questions here and see what was the next most requested strategy here. Again, it's what you guys are asking for. Okay. let's look at, let me come over here to the advice engine. So in the remaining 10 minutes here, let me try and cover one more strategy. And let's come over here. And the next most requested strategy was the rent to own presentation, it looks like, based upon what I'm seeing here. So if you take a look, a rent versus own presentation. So this again, refinances, very popular right now. You got the business falling in your lap, but what happens when you've got to start, getting back to the grind of working and generating business through purchase transactions, and you start working with people that are new to the purchase market? What are you going to do? How do you get back into the grind, I guess you will, of working with those particular clients? So a rent versus own presentation can be very helpful for you. So let me go ahead and share this and show you what this looks like here. And with our rent versus own presentation, I think you want to be able to illustrate and have a conversation with your borrower about three main talking points. And let me share with you two very successful top producing mortgage professionals. Let me share with you the links to the calls that they did. So these two top producing mortgage professionals, this is Kevin Watson, and this is Denise Donahue, AKA the mortgage nerd. I'm going to go ahead and put the links to these two particular calls in the chat area for you, because I just want you folks to hear the scripting that they use, because they do a very good job of walking a client through a rent versus own presentation, pointing out the value of becoming a homeowner. So I'm going to put these two in the chat. The first one is Denise Donahue's. The second one is Kevin Watson's. I'd recommend using both, but they both emphasize these three main talking points that I'm going to share with you folks now. And by the way, to create a rent versus own presentation, it's very easy. It's right down here in the Mortgage Coach advice engine, right here where it says prepare a rent versus own. You may not even notice that little button. You just move it from no to yes. And then when you get to this particular area, choose get my first home. And then that will give you the opportunity to paint the picture of what their output looks like from a renter. And then of course you could present the loan options that you think are going to be the best fit for them as a homeowner. So here's where you do the data entry to paint the picture of what their expenses look like as a renter. And then when you look at the presentation, this is what it looks like. So here's $2,045. Here's the rent that they are paying. They've had been subject to an annual rent increase of 2%. The $45 is for insurance for the interior content. But here's the $2,045. Here are different down payment options. Any of you ever encounter a borrower that still thinks that they have to have a 20% down payment in order to be able to buy a home? So that's why you could use a presentation like this if you do encounter that and illustrate to them, no, you can purchase a home. Some of you have down payment assistance programs. I mean, almost nothing to purchase a home, right? But here's a very simple one, 5, 10, and 20%. And what it would look like in this case, they have the money to put the 20% down, but what would it look like if they didn't put the 20% down and kept a certain amount of money in an investment account, and being able to show them what their net worth would look like? So that's why when you look in this area here is, yeah, they could put 20% down, but maybe it's better for them not to and keep some money in savings or an investment account and only put 5%. Again, it's based case by case basis by your borrower, whatever their goals are, but you're able to use Mortgage Coach to paint that picture for them now. So 3 main talking points in the 5 minutes that we have. Okay, I'll go over these real quick for you. So this is the borrower's total monthly payment, what they're going to have coming out of pocket, out of their bank account. So this is what's coming out of their pocket as a renter on a monthly basis. This is if they took and put a 5% down, 10%, and then of course the 20%. That's the out-of-pocket expense. And that covers, you can see here, mortgage insurance in each of the different cases, as well as their monthly expenses, okay? Additional monthly expenses. Now, you might be looking up here and be going, okay, net monthly payments. Why is the net monthly payment lower for somebody to purchase a home rather than if they were a renter? So what this picture is painting here for the client, it takes into account two of those benefits that you may want to have a conversation with your client about, the talking points. So one of the benefits, of course, is the tax benefit. As a homeowner, you have the ability to write off the mortgage or the interest that you're paying with the mortgage, the taxes, and potentially mortgage insurance. So when you take those components into consideration, you may, and you have the ability within the advice engine, based upon their filing status, what they could expect for the deduction. And this, by the way, they will get a standard deduction regardless of if they're a homeowner or not. You don't have to show this if you don't want to, but this is representing the standard deduction that they would get. This is representing what they would get in purchasing the property, utilizing whatever down payment they choose. The next component is the amount of principal paid. And I referenced this earlier. So when somebody makes a payment, a mortgage payment, a portion of that goes towards principal and a portion of it goes towards interest. Now, as you know, as a mortgage professional, the amount of money that they pay towards principal is smaller at the beginning of the loan, and then over time, it actually overcomes the amount of interest that's paid. So what this is representing here is the amount of interest paid on the very first payment for each of these options. So when you take into account, and the principle, by the way, is like having a forced savings plan. You're putting money away in your house, which you can access either by refinancing or when you sell the property. You're putting that money into a forced savings plan. When you take into account the tax benefit along with the principal that's being paid, that's how the net benefit is being calculated, which is being represented up here graphically. So it's tax benefit and principal paid deducted from the out-of-pocket expense. So it's representing here, in this case, you can see that the net monthly payment is significantly lower than what they would be paying as a renter. And then, of course, the third component here, in the last 2 minutes, their net worth. Okay, what is their net worth going to look like through property appreciation over the time that they're going to be in the house? So this is a way that you educate those first-time home buyers. Maybe you're going to be doing a virtual first-time home buyer seminar, and you're going to have a webinar, and you're going to invite a bunch of first-time home buyers. Maybe you, when the world returns normal, maybe you're going to be doing that in person, having these people come. But this is a great way for you to illustrate and show them how they can achieve certain, milestones, net worth, whatever the case it is, through purchasing a home, and you're their guide. So you're creating value for yourself in showing them things that they might not have considered, the benefits of becoming a homeowner. So you're the guide on their journey to becoming a homeowner. All right. We're going to go into wrap-up mode here, give you guys an opportunity to ask any last-minute questions. I'm going to launch a poll here real quick too. This is something new. We do have a follow-up poll that I'm going to go ahead and launch with you. And we'd like to get your feedback on, what did you think of the presentation? Was it helpful for you? Was the pace too quick? Was the pace just right? If I could figure out, this is the first time I'm trying to launch a second poll here. So let's see if I can figure it out. let's see if I do a relaunch, confirm, and then it's going back to the first question here. Let's see if I can figure out how to launch this. And if I can't figure it out and you need to go, that's fine. Yeah, I am not seeing the opportunity. I think it's a one-time shot. You launch the poll and ask the questions. Okay, I'm gonna have to work on it. Or let's see here. No, there it is. I figured it out. Just took a little bit. Here we go. There it is. There's a drop-down menu I didn't see. So if you could provide your feedback, what'd you think of it? Was it helpful? How was the pace? Appreciate it. Your feedback helps us. We're constantly trying to make these better for you and trying to make adjustments. So anything that you could put in there, that would be great. And this call was recorded too, by the way. So we're going to be posting this on our YouTube channel. So if you would like to go through it at a slower pace, kind of digest some of the information, understand the talking points, understand where you make the adjustments in the presentation, I'm going to upload this to our YouTube channel and it'll be available for you. So just another reason to subscribe to the YouTube channel. You'll get those alerts once something new has been posted, and you'll be able to get that. All right, guys, take care. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.